Hello there, my name is Seyda the Chosen King, and right now you're listening to me do a really terrible impression. But nonetheless, I do thank you so much for clicking onto my wrestling show, and I hope that you will enjoy listening to it. Please do me the favor and the honor of subscribing to my channel so that you may get new cool episodes of the main card as well as other equally cool content. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, that way you will know exactly when a new episode drops. The main card presents episode number 18, and of course we are still on the road to Survivor Series. We are less than 2 weeks away from the brand versus brand event. 13 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 16, 15, 14, 13 seconds away from Survivor Series, which will be live from Houston, Texas, in the Toyota Center on November the 19th in the United States of America. And of course, here in South Africa, it's going to be on November the 20th from 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm not sure if I'm not sure. I wonder if it's still going to be at 3 a.m. because the start time in the States is going to be at 5. But we'll have to get the updates as time goes on. What I wanted to do for today is I wanted to profile a special Survivor Series match. A special Survivor Series match that took place in 2005. This one is all about Survivor Series in 2005, but not the whole event, but more especially leading up to the traditional Survivor Series 5-on-5 elimination match. And I wanted to profile this one because after Smackdown laid Raw under siege, for some reason, that was like a very, how can I put it? That was a very pivotal moment, and it was also a very monumental moment when it comes to SmackDown versus Raw this year, because of the fact that SmackDown did it in the manner that they did, and it was so unexpected. And for some reason, it was very reminiscent of something that has happened before, but then I just couldn't put my finger on it. But I think I did touch on it prior in a few episodes back when I was talking about that, very same invasion that SmackDown did. And if I'm not mistaken, I touched on it on episode 14 of the main card show, of course, of which you're still listening to. And it was literally Survivor Series 2005 that I was touching on, because of the fact that 2005, in my personal opinion, well, this is just mine, I think 2005 is the best Survivor Series 5-on-5 elimination match that we've ever had, because of the fact that then, when it comes to rivalry between SmackDown and Raw, at the time, it was literally evident. It was literally evident throughout TV. It was literally evident throughout fans. It was also evident during the event. And I say that because if you remember on the build-up to that Survivor Series, there was a WWE Homecoming where SmackDown was supposed to have a match during Raw, but then Eric Bischoff didn't allow it, and they turned the lights off on SmackDown, and then they didn't have their match, which is very humiliating and embarrassing for SmackDown. And literally, SmackDown brought the show to Raw in the form of Matt Hardy and Rey Mysterio, who would fight Chris Masters and Gene Snitsky, and Rey Mysterio and Matt Hardy would win. Not to mention the World Heavyweight Champion Batista from SmackDown also facing Jonathan Coachman, who was flanked, if I may put it that way, by Vader and Goldust in a match. And still, Batista came out and he won that match against the Coach. But Taboo Tuesday was a Raw event, and SmackDown Superstars came to win at a Raw event. Now, fast forward throughout there, both brands would pick their teams. SmackDown would be represented by Batista, by Bobby Lashley at the time, who was picked to be like the trump card for SmackDown, so to speak, if I can put it that way. It was also JBL, and it was also Randy Orton, and it was also Rey Mysterio. Raw was represented by Big Show, Carlito, Shawn Michaels, Kane, and the masterpiece Chris Masters as well. And I remember SmackDown's captain was Batista, and Raw's captain was Shawn Michaels. And at the time, SmackDown was the one who was the underdog because you had Raw invading SmackDown. You had Raw superstars invading SmackDown, and it happened during a match between Batista and Randy Orton. And then Raw had already attacked SmackDown prior to that, and they actually laid out Batista to the point where he was injured, and he was literally like a wounded champion. And it was a dire situation for SmackDown because now you have your main player being injured. So the way they told that story was brilliant, I feel, because of the fact that you had now the brand who had their champion, their main champion as their captain. And obviously, you know, your main champion is like your number one guy, but then your number one guy is injured. And then for Raw, Kane and the Big Show at the time were also the World Tag Team Champions, and they were the trump card for Monday Night Raw. So, and they're the ones who laid out Batista. And I'm bringing this up because of the fact that I want to just brief people on the story that was being told when it comes to Raw and SmackDown at the time. And it was very heated because if you watch that match back, and you can check the link in the description for the link to the full match between Raw and SmackDown at the 2005 Survivor Series, because WWE re-uploaded it on their website, WWE.com, but they also uploaded the whole thing as well on their YouTube page. So just check the link in the description and you will see the match, the Team Raw versus Team SmackDown Survivor Series Elimination match from 2005. Watch that entire match. But when you're watching that entire match, also listen to the commentary. Also listen to the commentary between Raw and SmackDown, because of the fact that it was Survivor Series. Listen to, at the time it was Joey Styles, Jerry Lawler, and Jonathan Coachman who were representing Monday Night Raw, and for SmackDown it was Michael Cole and Taz. Listen to the commentary from those guys for that entire match and see if you don't sense the animosity there. What I would love personally is, because we already know, and I love this dynamic of Byron Saxton as well as Corey Graves, because those two, personally for me, they make, their dynamic is amazing and they make it so entertaining to listen to them. I would love it personally if for this Survivor Series we get this kind of animosity, this kind of dynamic when it comes to commentary as well, and not just have one team call the whole match. It would be so nice if they did it the same way that they did it in 2005, where they mixed the commentary teams and let them have a go at each other, but still maintaining their professionalism and maintaining focus on the match.